Yo, my name is Lawrence Ray, owner-operator of Talk to Me Nice Studios. Bookings available at ttmn478.com. Usually I hop on here and give photography tips or advice, just answer some questions that were sent to me. Today it's a little bit different. I wasn't really asked anything about photography. It was more of a broad question just related to entrepreneurship in general, owning a business, do's and don'ts, things to think about for those who are thinking about getting into business. Like always, I like to be straightforward and transparent. I support anybody who wants to open their own business, of course, but there are things you should think about. So let's give a couple of those now. Like I said, this video is very general. I'm not giving advice to any specific industry, but regardless of what you plan to do, there is one important question, no matter what, that has to be asked. Who's my market? Anybody who knows me know my favorite number is 3, and I tend to do things in sets of 3. So I got 3 important questions you need to think about. Who is my customer? What problem do they need solved? And how urgent is this problem? Those are 3 things you need to get an answer for immediately, because if not, you're really building your business on a dream and not really a solid foundation, because you don't know who you're trying to sell to. You don't know if they even need it, and if they need it, why do they need it from you? So once you figured out who your market is, you need to test if this market is strong enough and is it big enough to sustain your business long term. You can do that by offering, I don't know, free samples, trial periods, pre-sales, whatever you need to do to kind of get an idea of what your market may be willing to do. Now, one thing I will say is take this period very seriously. See exactly what the sales are. Are they hard to get? Just what exactly is the feedback that you're getting related to this potential business? Because if you can't sell it without offering huge discounts or things like that, you may not have a marketing issue. It may just be a demand issue. It may just not be enough people either willing to invest into this business, or the need for it may not be as big as you were hoping. And look, again, like I said, I don't know what industry you're gonna be in, so I don't necessarily know who your competition is. But one thing I know that a lot of people seem to get confused is when I say the word competition, you automatically just assume that to be whoever's doing exactly what you do, which, like I said, I own a photography business. So naturally you would assume my competition to be other photographers, videographers, which is true to a certain extent. But in all honesty and in the actual reality of things, your competition is any other thing somebody could spend their money on. Like I said, I'm a photographer, which means 9 times out of 10, I'm part of somebody's discretionary funds, which means after their bills are paid, they got a couple of dollars they might want to just spend just to have fun or just do something, which means they are now deciding, hey, do I want to go take some photos? Or do I want to go out to eat? Do I want to go to the club? Whatever they can decide to spend their money on instead of you is your competition. So you need to know what exactly is the competition doing well, where exactly are they kind of falling a little short on, where can I fit in this situation to hopefully earn that business. Look, another thing you got to think about when you're opening this business: what are the costs to run this business? And again, when I say cost, that just doesn't mean the actual tools needed to do whatever you're going to be doing. Like me, photography business. When I ask you what the costs are for it, you're likely gonna assume that to be how much does the camera cost, how much does the lens cost, which is true, that is part of the expenses. But you can't forget things such as taxes, insurance, permits if you need to buy permits depending on what industry you're in. There's a number of different factors that you have to consider when you're about to open this business. How much does it cost you to run this business, as well as what's the return on the investment of time? Like me, I usually do 1-hour sessions, but you gotta think, once I'm done taking those photos, now I gotta go home and edit it. So are you making sure that your overhead costs include all the time for one, doing the photos or whatever you do, as well as the time that it takes to prepare or finish up these items? It's something you have to consider when we start talking about expenses. Another thing people seem to forget when they're starting to put together their operating expenses budget is the cost of marketing. Look, you can have the best product or service in the world, but if nobody knows about it, nobody's gonna get to you. So you gotta have some money to invest into that, man. And it can't just be one time. I see a lot of businesses who they'll put a big promotion together for their grand opening, and that's the only time you'll see that. You have to be consistent with it. You have to stay in their face. One thing I've said in previous videos, which holds true, is people don't usually book all the time based off of who's the best or who's the most talented or whatever the case may be. People tend to go to what's easiest. People love the easiest path. So you got to make sure, one, that you're in their face so they automatically think of you, and then you got to make it easy to get in contact with you. If you're offering a service, make it easy to book you. Whatever you need to do to be the first one they think about, and the easiest to get in contact with. Look, even if you got everything together, even if you're doing your absolute best, one thing you absolutely got to consider if you're going to open this business is the mental toll it may take on you. I'll be the first to tell you, I love my business. We're doing better than I could have ever imagined. But it's some days, like anybody else, you got to be honest with yourself and be like, man, am I doing the right thing? Is this exactly what I wanted to do? This isn't going exactly the way I wanted to go. No matter how great you're doing, that's just going to happen sometime. One thing you have to ask yourself, can I take the days I make zero with as much energy and as much determination as the days where I'm racking in thousands? These are things you have to think about. Look, if you're going to be owning your own business, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, there is no guaranteed check coming to you every 2 weeks, every week, however you get paid at your current position. You got to be okay with the days where it's not going as you plan. And that's okay if you're not ready for that. If you're not ready for that, that's absolutely fine. Take your time and just plan it out to a time where mentally you're able or financially you're able. This is a part that you cannot rush, because the stress usually is what causes a lot of impact on these businesses. Because you get stressed, you start doing stuff you shouldn't do, you start trying to push something you shouldn't push, and there goes your business. 3 things you need to think about on this business as well. Scalability. So just because you open it at a certain level, what's the plan? Can it grow, or is this the biggest it could ever get? The second one is location, accessibility. Is it hard for your people to get to you? Like we already talked about getting in contact with you. Even if they get in contact with you, where are you running this business at? Again, people are always going to go for the easiest thing. You have to stay within that proximity of where your clients are likely going to be. And then number 3, let's be honest. What's the exit strategy on this situation? What's the overall plan for this business? Is this something you plan to open up and run 20 years? Is this something we're trying to grow to a certain point and then sell it? Because again, from day one, you got to be moving towards that goal. One issue I see a lot of businesses have, I've talked to a lot of business owners, is when you start treading water. Because a lot of people will confuse the business generating income with the business being profitable. Just because you make money, if the money you make is literally just enough to pay the bills, that business is not where it needs to be. Like anything, I know they say it a lot in like sports teams, the worst place you can be at is the middle, which means, okay, I'm not necessarily bad enough where this isn't working, so I don't know if I want to change something and then I go the wrong way, but I clearly see there's some improvement to be made, but I don't know if I want to risk it, because again, you're worried about, well, what if I risk wrong and it goes the wrong way? Completely understandable. I got 3 things you should think about if you're stuck in this position. You might need to pivot. Maybe you're offering the wrong type of service. Maybe you're offering these services to the wrong type of clients, or maybe your pricing model is slightly off, or your strategy, something is off there. So maybe we just need to pivot slightly and see if we can get a change in the right direction. The second thing is simplify. We already discussed, people love the path of least resistance. So maybe you're offering too much and it's starting to overwhelm your clients and they're just looking elsewhere. So let's just make sure we're keeping it simple in terms of how do they book you? How do they get to you? What are you offering? Sometimes too much is too much. Last one I'm gonna say is pause. Look, I know nobody wants to hear this, but insanity is doing something that's not working over and over again. So if you tried everything you possibly can with your business and it's just not going the way you want it to go, maybe we hit the reset button on the business. Maybe, I know if you're doing this full time, maybe we go get a job. I'm not even saying a full-time job. Maybe go get a part-time job to get more income coming in. And while you're working that other job, maybe reset the business. Let's have an honest conversation about what went wrong the first time and maybe change some things and rebrand it and come back with it. So these are just my opinions from my experience. I've been a business owner now for a few years, and these are just things I've learned on my journey. Obviously, if anybody has anything they want to chime in, more than welcome to. Again, great photographers are everywhere. Your photographer is located at Talk to Me Nice Studios. We're located here in Middle Georgia. Bookings available at ttmn478.com. Love y'all. See you next time.